This is chapter 3/4 test review. In this video, we will be covering problems 29 through 36. What you have on screen right now is 29 through 32, which is asking us to find the slope, then describe it as positive, negative, no slope, or undefined. These are your four ways of describing a slope. We have 29 here. Let me zoom in to make this a little bit better for you. Alright, let's start the problem. 29 gives us this wonderful graph, and we want to find the slope. There's multiple ways of doing it. In this video, I will be counting the change in y over the change in x. Okay, so let me graph it. I've noticed that I go down how many times, which is in red here. Okay, I go down 1, 2, 3. So my change of x is -3 because I'm going down. My change of y is equal to -3 because I am going down. Next, I want to find my change of x, which is the green, which is how much I'm changing in the left to right direction. So from here, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to the right, which is positive. So I notice my change of x is equal to 5. Okay, the slope formula is change of y over change of x. That's why the slope m is equal to -3 over 5, which describes a negative slope, which makes sense because right here, if you look at it, it goes downward, which indicates a negative slope. Number 30, we have this graph here as well. You can pause the video if you would like to attempt this. Remember, you should count. Alright, so I graphed it here, and I saw that from this point to this point, I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So my change of y is equal to 4. Next, from this point, I count to the right. 1, 2, 3. It's to the right, so it's +3. So that is my change of x is equal to 3. The slope formula is change of y over the change of x. That is why the slope m is equal to 4 over 3, which indicates this is a positive number, so we call this a positive slope. We can check by looking at our points. From left to right, the slope goes up. That is why we call it a positive slope. Next, let's go to 31. 31, we have this graph here. You should notice that this is a horizontal line. However, we don't do anything different. Okay, we still graph how much is it going up, how much is it changing in the x direction, in the y direction. 0, I don't go up anything. How much is it changing in the x direction, right? Infinity. Okay, infinity. Okay, so what is the slope here? The slope is 0 divided by a bunch of numbers. Okay, so here it doesn't increase. So you would say the slope is 1, 2, no, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, the change of, it should be 4. Look, it's changing from 1, 2, 3, 4. So the change of x is equal to 4. If you look at this, okay, it's the change of y, which is 0, divided by the change of x, which is just 4. If you do that, or if you do that, 0 divided by 4 is just 0. The slope is 0. There you go. Okay, I made a little mistake here. Please be aware the change of x is equal to 4. You're going from this point to this point. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Next, 32. 32 gives us this graph, and we should still count. So I have it graphed here for you. I go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So my change of x is -4, not +4 because I'm going down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I go to my right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my change of x is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so the slope here should be negative 4 divided by 5. Okay, and this is going down, which indicates the negative slope, so we are correct. Okay, this is number 32. Next, it seems like these are the same directions. Number 33 to 36, it asks you to calculate the slope, then describe if it is positive, negative, no slope, or undefined. Okay, what I give you here is 33. I give you 2 points. Notice that these 2 points, okay, are not graphed. I gave you it here. I gave you the 2 points already graphed. Here, I just gave you the 2 points. There is no reason why you can't grab a piece of graph paper and just graph it. You can do that. For this case, I'm going to show it not using the graph method. I'm going to be using the formula method. Okay? The first thing I need to do is always label my points. This is the first point, so this is my first point. The x for the first point is negative 9. x1 equals to negative 9. My y of my first point is negative 2, so y1 equals to negative 2. This is my second point. The x for my second point is negative 5. That is why it's written x2 equals to negative 5. The next one, this is the 0. This is the y for my second point. That's why I wrote y2 equals to 0. I should always write the formula after I label it, because with this information, I know I can use this formula. I make the substitution, so y2 is 0, y1 is negative 2, x2 is negative 5, and x1 is negative 9. This is just the substitution. After that, I simplified. 0 minus a negative is the same thing as adding. The negative 5 subtract a negative 9 is the same thing as adding a 9. Okay? 0 plus 2 is 2. Negative 5 plus 9 is 4. You can simplify that by pulling out the GCF, which is 2. So 2 becomes 1 and 4 becomes 2 because I simplified by dividing by 2. The slope, by pulling out a 2 from the top, from the numerator and the denominator. Slope is positive here because the slope is a positive number. Number 34, this is what I labeled. Again, this is my first point. Let me color code this for you. That's my red. That is why this is red. This is blue. So this is going to be blue, right? The first point of my first x for my first point is negative 1. The second point for the first point, the y is negative 6. For my second point, the x is 2. My x2 equals to 2. And my y is negative 6. M is equal to negative 2 minus negative 1 divided by x2 minus x1. Right? So let's make that substitution. Okay, here, let me show you the substitution if you want to see how it works. You see y2 here? I put negative 6. y1 here becomes negative 6. Okay, y2 becomes 2. X2 becomes 2. X1 here becomes negative 1. You see, when I make the substitution, I always use the parentheses. That is how I got this value here. Alright. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, let me just change this back. You should, right? There you go. Right, that's what I got. Negative 6 minus negative 6 divided by 2, subtract negative 1. Okay, you could do a little simplification here. Negative Subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding. Subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay? 0 divided by 3 is just 0. Slope is 0. Okay? Next, we have 35. 0 comma negative 4 and 0, 0. Okay, let me color code it here for you so you can see. My first point here is 0 comma negative 1. My second point here is 0, 0. Okay, that's what I have here. So, here's my equation, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. You can make those substitution. So it becomes 0 minus negative 4 divided by 0 divided by 0. Minus a negative 4 is the same thing as adding a 4. 0 subtract 0 is just 0. 4 divided by 0, or m is equal to undefined, right? It is not 0. When it is 0 divided by something, it becomes 0, which the slope is equal to 0. But here, you cannot divide by anything, right? It is undefined. It makes no sense. You cannot break down the number by 0 pieces, okay? So that's why the slope here is undefined, okay? If you graph this, you can also see why it's undefined, because it is actually a vertical line, okay? Let's go to the next one. 36. Here are my 2 points. Let me color code it. Let me color code it for you. Here's your red. Here is your red. Here is your red. Let me make this blue. Let me make this blue. There you go. Okay. y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. You can make the substitution. Would you like to see it? y2 is negative 5. Right? Negative 5. X1. Y1 is 2, so that should be a 2. X2 is negative 3, so negative 3. And X1 is negative 4. Okay, there you go. Negative 2 minus 2, subtract 3 minus negative 4. So my substitutions were correct. Okay. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, I was getting this back to the way it should look at. There you go. Okay, so there we have it. Now we can simplify. Minus 2, right? Negative 5 minus 2, and negative 3 minus a negative 4. Minus a negative is the same thing as adding, right? So the bottom was negative 3 plus 4. Now you can simplify it. M is equal to negative 7. Negative 5 subtract 2 is negative 7. The bottom, negative 3 plus 4 is 1. So any number divided by 1 is just that number, which is negative 7. Notice how this is a negative number, so we say that the slope is negative. Here you go. This is the solution for all the slope questions of 29 through 36.